If you're anything like me, then you've come across Theo, T3, the creator of the T3 stack. I don't I don't know what you want to call him. His YouTube channel I think is T3-Theo or whatever. So anyway, you've come across Theo before, and you have become obsessed with TypeScript and you want type safety across all of your applications, but you also want inference, yada yada yada. So you started using a lot more TypeScript and stuff, specifically with TRPC, and that was a big thing that you were using for a while. And now Next.js 13.4 is out, and you're worried about server actions and how you're going to handle type safety with them, specifically with forms. I was worrying about this too. Not worrying, that's a bad word. I was curious about this too. So I did some research and I found a way that I can get type safety on both the client and the server with validation on both the client and the server using Zod, using React TS form and a package called zact. Now, zact is created by, I think, ping.gg, so under Theo's authority, I guess. I haven't heard Theo talk about it, so I don't know how stable it is or if this is something he is officially announcing or not. But it is on GitHub and you can install it. And I found that it works pretty well with React TS form, which is how I handled my forms before, but instead of with server actions, I was using TRPC. So anyway, I just want to walk through it because I think that's probably the easiest way to sort of show how this all works. So we'll start from the bottom of the directory and work up. So first we have our package JSON, which is just a normal Next.js project with TypeScript, as well as a couple of other dependencies, which you can install if you go to reacttsform.com with dashes, so like react-ts-form.com. By dash, I mean hyphen. There are the documentations for it. I'll link this down below in the description as well. So you can install all of your dependencies and whatnot. Now, for React TS form, the basic idea here is we create a mapping of Zod types to React components, and then we give each form a Zod object where the types inside of the object suggest, according to this mapping, which React component to render inside of the form. So down here I have a little bit modified versions of the base example fields for forms. So this is just pretty quick and dirty getting it up and running. And then we create this generic form right here. Now this is all on the client side. This is important that we're using use client, and the reason for that is that I think these forms use context, and as such, we can't have it be a server component. Now what's tricky about crossing server components and client components is you cannot pass props that are not serializable to client components from server components. And what that means for us is we can't pass our mapping or our schemas to the forms. So we need to have this be all client side. And one way that I found to get this to happen is to create a form wrapper that is a client component, because then we're passing all of our non-serializable props from client component to client component. And this has no props. So we just call the form wrapper itself. We're not passing any props, so it doesn't matter if they're serializable or not because we're not passing anything. So here we're importing our schema, which we generate. I'll go over the file structure real quick. Basically what I'm thinking with this is for each form you have a folder with an action, a form, and a schema. Now these need to be 3 files because the action is server side. See, we use server. The form is client side. We use client. But the schema needs to be imported into both. So if we only define it in one or only define it in the other, I don't know if we can import across files. So we have our form where we import our signup schema, and that's the schema that we pass to the form right here. And on submit, we call our server action, which I have called validated action, which we're importing from the server actions file. And I have some styling and some render after stuff. This can all be seen in the documentation for React TS form. But the important thing is that we can call this validated action thing, which we get types for here. And we also get types for here. So you can see that there's type inference going on. Now the way this works is you basically just call zact with the schema. I don't know if I said this earlier, but zact is Zod action for server actions. So zact the schema, and this is the input that you're giving to the function. And then you write your logic inside of this async arrow function. So here we see the input again. It has the same schema that we have from signup schema. So the schema is both on the front end and the back end. Now, if you've worked with React TS Form before, you'll know that you can do fancy validations like on Blur and whatnot. It's a good library. So that's basically the important stuff. Here on the page, I'm just importing the form and just putting it here. Again, all of the components are being passed on from client to client, so there's no non-serializable data being passed from server to client. So now I think the only thing left is to give a quick demonstration. So I'll pull up the form, and here I'll say my email is test@gmail.com. Password is password. I am over 18, my age is 23, and we'll hit submit. And if you come here, I'll open this up a little bit. We can see that I just submitted this. We get the email is test@gmail.com. Password is over 18 is true, and age is 23. So yeah, and we just see that there because all I'm doing in the action right now is console logging the input. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. This is all very new to me, so if over the course of this video you came across something that you think I'm doing wrong or I could improve, please let me know down in the comments below. That would be really useful also for the other people who are watching this video and might not know what I'm saying wrong. Go check the comments. Give the video a like if you're so inclined, and I'll catch you in the next one. God bless.